discussion. Okay, before we'll start with our class discussion, we will have first a prayer. May I request Christian Talo to lead the prayer, please? May I request Christian Talo to lead the prayer?
Be reminded that we are in the holy presence of God, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for the gift of life. Lord, just as we proceed to our next topic today, may you guide us all. May we learn and keep us away from something. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Okay. So again, good morning, everyone. Good morning. 12 students in the room in this Google Meet. So before anything else, again, kindly have your attendance in the chat box. Okay, notify yourself in the chat box so that we can have our record for the start and also later on at the end of our discussion. Again, please do remind your other classmates to please come in during synchronous classes. Okay. So for this morning class, we will be discussing regarding drug dosage forms. So I will be just using a PowerPoint slide under slide share that can be accessed online. Okay, that you can access also online. Because I find it very complete, no, in terms of the information needed under drug dosage forms. By the way, is sino to? Mr. Cortez present? Is Mr. Cortez present? Sinong classmate ni Cortez dito? May classmate ba si Cortez dito sa inyo? Hello? Okay. Um, pag okay na yung internet connection, please do tell him na he is the owner of the video discussion last time. Okay? Take note, he is the owner of the video discussion last time. Please tell him to reset ownership to everyone as editor. Everyone to have the link must be an editor so that everyone could download the video or can view the video because I cannot share the video discussion in our Google Classwork in the sense na siya yung owner, no? Kailangan pa ng permission. Okay? As you have noticed, hindi pa ako nagbigay talaga ng quiz. Again, your quiz will be available within this weekend, okay? Kindly visit this weekend if pag mabigay ko na yung code, no? Please visit, no? And try to answer the different questions or on the based on the topics that we have. Then you still have up to next week to finish all the quizzes as well. Okay, your exam will be on 17 and 18, I think. It's on the 17 and 18 next week. So basics lang tanan nga to ang topic, no? From LADME to drug classification to prescription, drug dosage formulations, mga dosage forms, and lastly, on Tuesday rather, our last topic is on drug interactions, common drug interactions. Okay, so let's start with our discussion. Allow me to share this slide. Is the PowerPoint slide share, kan ba siya? Clear? Nakita ninyo? Okay. So, the first, our topic is on drug dosage forms, no? Our topic is on drug dosage formulations or forms. We're in under drug dosage, okay, under drug dosage formulations. Our objectives here is number one is for us to know the different drug dosage formulations that we have. Kasi sometimes if we encounter something regarding drug informations, there are some terms used in drug formulations, mga terminologies of the different drug formulations that everyone must know anong itsura niya, no? Para saan siya ginagamit and so on. So that is the first one, no? The to know the different types of or classifications of drug formulations and drug dosage formulations. And the number two is to know the reason behind why they are made in such way or bakit ginawa ang tablet, bakit naka-syrup form ang isang gamot, bakit naka-suppository ang isang gamot, for example. No? So the reasons behind kung bakit meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng drug dosage formulations. Okay? So those are our primary objectives for this topic. So I will be sharing the link later. No, I will be sharing the link of this one in your, I'll be adding it in the course material, under course material. So the course material where prescription was already in your classwork. I have noted their assignment at the end of that PowerPoint presentation. There is a need for you to answer the short exercise lang. Okay? Short exercise. Your answer must be submitted via ay maggagawa na lang ako ng Google Form. Okay? Para doon nyo na lang siya i-enter yung sagot ninyo para dali na lang po pag-check na ko. Maisa-isa na ko siya check. Kaya kung inyo pa siyang i-type niyo sa MS Word, dili na ko siya ma-itemize og check. Dugay ang dili siya ma-auto check. Okay? So, I'll be providing a Google form with that one. Okay? Just wait for the Google form and then you answer in the Google form. Understood? For that assignment found in the course material under prescription. Okay? So, let's continue. So again, drug dosage form. So there are many types of drug dosage form. So first is to define what is a dosage form or what are dosage forms. So these are means by which drug molecules are delivered to site of action within the body. So again, dosage formulation are in that certain form um in a way that a drug could be properly administered or properly delivered into such site of action in the body. Like for example, skin. We cannot give tablet when the site of action of our drug is in our skin. So preferably, we will be having ointments, creams, ano pa ba to? Ointments, creams, waters, um, mga tinctures, no? That is used externally, okay? That are used externally and intended to be administered or delivered in the skin, okay? So that is the purpose of a dosage form in which we need to make these drug molecules to be delivered properly into the site of action into that certain formulation. And the needs for dosage form are the following. So, pag meron tayong dosage formulation, then it would be helpful kasi mas accurate yung dosage. Okay, mas accurate yung dose. Kumbaga, ready na, no? Pag sinabing 500 milligram, 500 milligram na yung gamot na meron. Na like in capsule, 500 milligram capsule. So ang nasa loob ng capsule are powders, no? Powders, and it is measured as 500 milligram of that certain drug. So mas accurate ang dosage, no? That would be helpful kaysa naman na powder lang siya, nami-measure ka pa. Sometimes there are problems in measuring, no? Baka mamali pa, hindi magiging accurate yung dose ng isang gamot. So, with that one, it gives accurate dosage. And then number two, protection such as coated tablets and sealed ampoules. So some of my notes class will be written in the chat box. Okay, I will be writing in the chat box kung may mga additional notes ako. So for example, number two, for protection, there are some drugs that are um, needs to be protected because they are impervious to air. Okay, they are sensitive to atmospheric oxygen. Is it clear? Again, there are some drugs that are sensitive to air or sensitive to atmospheric oxygen that somehow they are prone to what we so called as oxidation. No? They are prone to such oxidation. That's why they need to be protected, such as your coated tablets. Okay? Coated tablets. So, meaning yan, ang tablet, di-coat siya og kanang polymer, a coating material, so that it will not be distracted by the atmospheric oxygen. And also, we have your ampoules. Have you seen an ampoules, class? Have you seen an ampule? Nakakita na ba mong ampoules? Kana naa sa madagamay na bottle kanang for injection na ginakuan gyud na siya, gina-break, no? We break these pills, natay method in breaking pills. Like for example, kana sa mga movie, kanang ampoules like epinephrine ampoules used for those kanang mga kamatyunon na mga patient, and then they break epinephrine, and then um, gluta. Yes. Sinong nagagamit ng gluta? Correct. May mga gluta na naka-ampule. Yeah. Tsaka yung gluta with vitamin C na formulation. Naka-ampule yan siya. Okay? And then, of course, these are administered intravenously. Okay? So, yun. For protection against atmospheric oxygen, again, no? Coated tablets and sealed ampoules. And then somehow, for protection from gastric acid, because most of our drugs, or there are certain drugs rather, there are certain drugs that are um, sensitive to lower pH. Okay? Sensitive to lower pH, meaning acid. Di ba? Itong stomach is acidic. Gastric juice in the stomach is acid. And they are sensitive to that environment. So pag ganon, ma-degrade siya. So less effective, dili siya ma-absorb. No? Kaya na-degrade man siya, stomach pa lang. So it needs to be coated. It needs to be like tawag na to dira under to prevent it from gastric acid na to, preventing it from against or from gastric acid, then the formulation is usually what we so called as enteric, no? Enteric coated tablets. So meaning niyan, pag once na ma-expose tong tablet plus pag agi sa tablet na siya coat, no, na coat siya, ang ma ang ma-distract dito sa acid is the coat and not the drug. Para paglampas niya sa stomach, pag-adto niya sa intestine, still available pa rin yung gamot inside. So parang yung gamot mo is parang core. Siya yung core, nasa sa center. And then it was coated by a coating material, no? So that is an enteric coated. So I have my note in the chat box. Okay, masking taste and odor. So of course, kisabay nakatilaw sa inyo og kisabay mga asthmatic diri na patient, mga student nato diri asthmatic na mga student, those who able to taste syrups of antibiotics, unsay lasa, guys. Unsa may lasa sa 'tong mga tambal na mga syrup, katong bata pa mo. Though there are some na may flavor asthmatic diri sa inyo ha, guys. Nabay asthmatic diri sa inyo ha. Hello? Luod, no? Wala ni tubag. Okay. So, like for example, may ano no, very unpleasant yung taste ng gamot, no? Very unpleasant yung taste ng gamot natin. So, it need to be masked, no? In terms of its taste and other. So, usually we added mga flavorants, no? Mga different flavors just to mask the taste of the drug. Okay? And those flavoring agent varies as to what desired taste that you would like based on the original taste of the drug, no? Na siya yung mga proper way of mixing on those. Okay? And then placement of drugs within the body tissue. So yun na nga yung sinabi kanina based on the definition that through these dosage formulations, different dosage formulation, mas mapais ang placement o ang pag-deliver sa drugs sa site, no, of action in our tissues. Then, there are certain drugs that are intended for sustained release and control release. So, di ba, meron tayong mga kuan, meron tayong sorry, meron tayong anong mga drugs na makita niyo sa label SR, FR, 'di ba? Alaxan FR, no? Have you noticed that one? So when we say FR, it means fast release. So meaning in terms of its action, very fast siya, no? No? Meron ding iba na mga drug na sustained release wherein inanay ang iyahang action wherein it extends the time of its effect. No? Instead of ang effect niya is 4 hours, nagiging 6 hours kasi it's a sustained release medication. So mainly may gina-add doon sa gamot para mas makuan siya, mas ma-sustain or ma-prolong ang iyang action. Then for number 8, we have optimal drug action. Kasi as much as possible, we would somehow maximize, no, maximize the potency or the efficacy of those drugs that we have. Okay? Di pwedeng ma-degrade siya kasi pag ma-degrade yung gamot natin, again, it will be ineffective anymore. Then we have number 9, insertion of drugs in body cavities such as your rectal and vaginal suppositories. No? If the patient is unable to take those drugs or hindi siya capable na maggamit ng mga gamot na yun or intake via oral route kasi nagsusuka siya, for example, nagsusuka. So, what do what is the alternative is through rectal route, no? In the anus, no, or in the rectal route. And lastly, number 10, use of desired vehicle for insoluble drugs. So, there are certain drugs that are, okay, insoluble with their solvents like water, na, like water. So, kung insoluble siya sa water, therefore, dili siya pwede as a syrup, no? Di siya pwede in syrup formulation. So, unsa may other na mga alternatives na mga dosage form na pwede na to siya incorporate. Pwede na to siya as um, suspension, no? Suspension is different from syrup. Okay? The one na kana naga-reconstitute ta or kana naga-mix ta og water sa tuang drug, that is a suspension because the powder inside that bottle is insoluble or dili siya ma-dissolve sa water. Kaya mo na pag natay mga suspension like mga antibiotic, ang gina-advise always is to shake well. Shake well before use. Understood? Kanang mga suspension na to, kanang gina-reconstitute, ginamiksa na to og water na mga tambal. If you notice those, ang special instruction na very important is that it should be shaked well because shaked well before use. Bakit? Kasi upon prolonged standing, so na mix na no, Upon prolonged standing, since ang powder is insoluble with the water, okay, insoluble siya with water, so upon standing or kung di mo siya hilabtan or no shaking, the powder particles will move down or settle sa bottom sa bottle. Okay? Mag-settle siya sa bottom sa bottle. And then in that case, kung mag-inom ka next na dose, pag ana nimo niya wala nimo siya di-shakean, unsay imong nagkuhan, it's the water. Or kung naamo gani drug, puti lang gamaya. Kay ang drug powder naa sa ilalom, naa sa bottom sa bottle. So it should be shake well before use. Okay? Shake well before use. Okay, take note of that one na for suspension. What is the very important instruction? Shake it well before use. Okay, next. So for your drug, for our drug, in order for it to be called as a medicine or a drug dosage form, its formula is active pharmaceutical ingredient, meaning the drug mismo, yung active, yung nagabigay ng effect, no? Yung drug mismo, maybe it could be in a solid form, it could be in a liquid form or gas form, plus excipients. Ano yung excipients? These are other, okay? Excipients are other ingredients in the formulation but does not, okay, but does not gives effect in the biological system. Nagatabang siya para ma-formulate ang isa ka dosage formulation pero wala siya effect. And at the same time, dapat ang imong excipient is non-reactive, meaning dili siya mo react sa imong active pharmaceutical ingredient. So si excipient mo tabang para mas mapa-deliver ang drug or ang active pharmaceutical ingredient sa site of action or kung asa siya i-administer. So mo na ang purpose sa excipients class. Okay, mo na ang purpose sa excipients. So unsa may mga example na to ani? What are our examples under this? A example of our excipients. We have your coloring agents, mga colorants na to. So ang purpose ana nga nung nagadungag tag coloring agents kay para mas nindot sa tong panan-aw, di ba? It's for why do we need to have it in color mag-use ta og colorant naa sa inyohang kuan, naa sa inyohang sa inyohang chat box, okay? For aesthetic value, okay? Aesthetic value or para nindot siya sa tong panan-aw. Kaaya-aya siya sa tong panan-aw or sa consumer or sa patient para mas ganahan inom sa tambal. Okay? That is coloring agent. Then of course with sweetening agent as mentioned, flavorant, and then also we have your solvent solubilizing agent para that would help para mas maging soluble yung drug mo sa formulation. And then preservatives, antioxidants. So example of antioxidants that are usually used or used always is mga vitamins like vitamin A, vitamin E, BHA, DHA, no? Familiar mo ana naman na sa mga advertisement na mga with antioxidant BHA, DHA, no? To prevent the drug from reaction to atmospheric oxygen or from oxygen, no? Antioxidant, preventing them na ma-oxidized or madaot, which lessens its potency or efficacy. And then preservatives, okay, we have preservatives. So, of course, prevent ang pag-grow sa mga microbes, no? When we say microbes or microorganism, hindi lang bacteria, but also mga molds, mga fungi, no? That might grow. Kasi for example, syrups and suspensions which ang solvent niya is water. As time goes by, as ma-open na siya ng mga tambal, they are prone to such microbial growth. Kaya kailangan maglagay ng preservatives. Um, example natin, example ng preservative very common are your sodium benzoate, no? Sodium benzoate. Yan yung mga common na ginagamit. And then we have also your parabens. Okay? You notice sa market, especially for cosmetics, na sa mga cosmetics guys, parabens, methyl, propyl, parabens. So these are preservatives used in drugs and cosmetics. But then somehow, though they are in minimal amount, like mga 0.05 milligram, like nga na, so very minimal amount. But then, there are some certain point na mag-accumulate na siya ng mga, kung frequent ka na, especially for cosmetics, no? Wherein people are so dying with the use of cosmetics, no? The abuse sometimes of using cosmetics, which nagiging prone yung patient or yung consumer to those parabens or preservatives that in the latter part would somehow give some bad effect or nga siya side effect, no? Pag ma-expose ka sa parabens, it's unhealthy, no? It's unhealthy. Kaya merong mga added or plus point siya sa isa ka product na in the market, particularly sa itong mga cosmetics kanang paraben free. Are you kan napamoy na nakadungog ba mo ana paraben free na mga cosmetics na to? Like kanang sa mga babae, mga blush on, mga nga na gani, paraben free because again exposure to those parabens might have some deleterious effect in the long run. Kasi like for example, for parabens, kailangan ng preservative para dili siya madali madaot tong makeup, no? And then as we all know, we most girls, particularly girls, most really wear, especially from those who are in office works and so on, they usually wear makeups daily in daily usage. So kaya yun, to lessen such exposure, there are some alternatives naman na that they do na i-lessen ang pag-use sa parabens. Yan. Then we have thickening agent, suspending agent. So thickening agent, ang purpose niyan is to make the preparation thicker, no? Kasi this is for those mga insoluble drugs with water or sa solvent. So ang purpose ana niya na itikan siya kay para dugay mo settle ang powder. Muna siya ang isa sa iyahang mga purpose sa thickening agent. Like for example, ginaadan og mga glycerin, no? Nag-add og glycerin sa preparation to make it more thicker. And then suspending agents, for suspending agents para pod ma-distribute ang katong mga powders, particles na nasa baba, dali ra siya mabalik dito sa solvent, no? Kinahanglan man gud siya mas spread ang powder sa solvent para pag shake nimo, paspas siya ma-distribute. Dili po siya paspas mo sa taga na mo settle down sa bottle ang powders for suspensions. And then we have your binding agent. When we say binding agent, mo nang ginagamit na to para sa mga tablets. Mo nang hard atong tablets, okay? Para mas mo-bind siya. And then we have solvents, lubricants, and even perfumes, mga scents. No? So those are examples. These are examples of excipients that we have. Okay. So why we should be familiar with these basic properties of dosage form? Because as we all know, your active pharmaceutical ingredients or your drug mismo, handling can be difficult or impossible. Particularly for those mga ginagmay lang na amount ang kinahanglan. Okay? And then, especially for those low milligram or microgram doses, we need to be accurate in delivering those drugs to the patient na dapat kato siya na amount will be delivered properly. So that's why kailangan natin ng mga dosage formulations or forms. So API administration can be impractical, unfeasible, or not according to the therapeutically okay to the therapeutically aims. And some active pharmaceutical ingredient can benefit from reducing the exposure to environmental factors like light, moisture, because there are drugs that are photosensitive, no? Moisture sensitive, okay, and also sensitive to that of the atmospheric oxygen, which makes them chemically unstable or unstable. Okay? That would lead to such instability of those drugs. So, kailangan i-prevent sila. Kaya, meron tayong different types of dosage forms. Okay. So API can be degraded as mentioned in the site of administration like in the stomach with low pH or acid. So it should be protected and that's why we have enteric-coated tablets. API may cause local irritation or injury. Because there are certain drugs, natin mga drugs class na somehow they are acidic in nature. They are acidic in nature, so that's why it needs to be coated, no? It needs to be coated to prevent such local irritations. And then we have API can have unpleasant organoleptic qualities such as taste, unpleasant smell. So we need to incorporate scents, we need to incorporate colorant, and also flavorants. Okay, and then administration of active substance would mean to have no chance of modification or improvement of its pharmacokinetic profile. Um, for example, pharmacokinetic profile, ibig sabihin like, for example, ang peak time niya sa effect paspas ra kaayo na dili pwede ma-modify chemically ang isa ka drug, but it could be modified by means of by means sa iyahang formulation na instead na paspas ang iyang effect, ginapa-sustain, gina-control by means of a controlled release formulation. For example, ingana, no? So instead na paspas ang iyang effect, paspas ang absorption sa drug, paspas ang metabolism, through certain formulation, pwede siya ma-adjust, which cannot be adjust or modified to that drug alone chemically. So, ingana, no? Dakong tabang na natin mga different dosage formulations. And we have these types of dosage forms. We have the route of administrations. It can be classified as the route of administration and to its physical form. It could be solid, liquid, gas, semi-solids. Okay, solid, semi-solid, liquid, and gaseous state. And then for route of administration, it could be oral, topical, unsa man ang otic class. Question: what is otic? Okay, I am watching over sa phone kung sino yung nandito sa class. What is otic? With somebody from the class. Okay, para sa ear. And usually these are otic drops, no? Most of them are otic drops, but there are some that are in creams or ointment forms, no? Okay, let's continue. So first is tablet. So tablet are hard compressed medication. It could be round, it could be oval, it could be shaped into square, sometimes rectangle, sometimes in the shape of heart. Okay? Have you seen a tablet that is in the shape of heart? And there are some of them that are, yes, kasi ang purpose niyan is pang cardiac drug siya, no, para sa puso. So kaya naka-heart shape. For actually the purpose of that having them in different shape depende sa manufacturer is that for product identification, for ease of identification, especially para sa to ang mga elderlies, no? wherein nahihirapan na, pareha ra man sila circle, pareha pa jud white. So asa ani sa duwa, there might be some confusions, no? So as for product identification, mas maganda na naka-different shape siya and somehow lahi ang color, no? Iba yung color niya. So that's it, no, for product identification. And then somehow, like for example, lahi-lahi color, no? Just like your party drugs, itong mga party drugs, ecstasy, they are in tablet form, small tablet forms, and then they have in different colors, your party drugs. So yun. And then again, we will not be discussing on the excipients, but these are, no, the one used binder para mag-bind, para mo bind ang tablet, mag-compress siya, mugahi siya. And then glidants para dili siya ma-stuck sa machine, no? Kay kung kuan siya, grabe po siya binder, masubraan po siya binder, magpilit siya sa machine, di siya ma-expel, di siya magawa sa tableting machine. So, it needs glidant which increases its flow property para ma-expel siya. Di siya ang powder, dili magdikit-dikit sa kanang mga funnel, sa iyang paano. Then disintegrant, ibig sabihin ng disintegrant, kasi 'di ba tablet siya, 'pag ininom natin ng tablet, hindi siya it will undergo first disintegration. So ang purpose ng disintegrant is para mag-break up ang tablets into small particles, particularly in the digestive tract, before it dissolves, okay? Before siya ma-dissolve. And then sweetener, flavorants are used, okay? To mask that unpleasant taste of the active ingredient or active drug ingredient. And then pigments, ibig sabihin ng pigments, colorant lang siya. No? Part na siya, example of a colorant pigments. Okay. Next is, a coating may be applied. Again, yung reason nga natin is to hide the unpleasant taste of the drug. Okay? To make the drug more smoother and easier to swallow. Kasi minsan yung um, ang surface kasi ng ating tablet 'pag coated siya, smooth. So, mas dali itulon, mas dali i-swallow. Compared to that, if walang coated, very medyo may konting wrap. Sometimes, yung problem ngayon ng iba, munang matagam sila mo take og tablet because somehow they feel na marag nag-stuck diri sa ilahang tutunlan ang tablet. Okay? Yan yung mga problem sometimes, no? And then make it more resistant or become protected against environmental um, oxygen, or shall we say atmospheric oxygen, or protect them from any factors that would affect its degradation in the environment. And then it extends the shelf life of your drug, meaning it extends the potency or efficacy of such drug as it is stored for a long duration of time. Kaya nga yung mga drugs natin meron siyang expiration na 3 years, 4 years, kasi they are protected, no, by means of certain, ang isa sa nakatabang para ma-protected siya na effective siya up to that date, no, up to its expiration date, kasi nga may mga coatings na nagpo-protect sa gamot inside, no, may preservatives and so on, antioxidants and so on. Okay. So that is tablet. And tablet, maraming klaseng tablet class. We have this type na buccal and sublingual. So when we say buccal, okay, when we say sublingual, it is beneath the tongue, no, beneath the tongue. So sa ilalom sa imuhang tongue. And then when we say buccal, sa gum and cheek, diri siya ibutang, no? Maybe there are some drugs that are well absorbed in those areas, as mentioned as well in our discussion in Ladme. Okay, where it is more faster for them to move towards the bloodstream or towards the circulation. Okay, and to prevent them from the acid environment in the stomach, kasi di man mo siya tunlon, nalang man siya sa beneath the tongue or within the cheek, no? Or gums. So with that, it would protect them from acid and enzymatic environment in our stomach, no? And the drug metabolizing enzymes of the liver. Kasi nga, didiretso siya sa circulation. Okay? Hindi siya dadaan sa liver for metabolism. Again, your liver is the major site of metabolism of most drugs, 'di ba? Okay? Examples of these drugs are mga vasodilators. Ibig sabihin ng vasodilators, ginadilate niya, ginapa-widen or ginapa-open niya itong mga blood vessels, arteries or veins para mas okay ang flow sa ang circulation sa blood, no? Para walay pressure, walay increased blood pressure. That's the purpose of a vasodilator, no? And steroids, mga steroids na to. Okay? Next is effervescent tablets. So, kinsa na ba sa inyo ang nakatake ng effervescent class? Who have tried effervescent sa inyo? Other people aside from Angelo, aside from Jean, okay? Aside from Cressa, aside from Christian, who among you here have tried, okay? Effervescent tablet na vitamin C, okay? Kinsa na nakatry Berocca sa inyo ha? Berocca ba na siya? Kanang na tube? Berocca. Which is sa gani ko ni Berocca gani? Is it pang energy ba ang Berocca o kuan? Vitamins siya, mixed vitamins siya. ah, and then makapalabsik siya sa lawas na your Berocca. Okay, mixed vitamins siya. So, yun. So, ang purpose niyan is this effervescence na siya ginatawag to citric acid and tartaric acid. So, these are acids. And they are in combination with that of base, no? Like your carbonates, bicarbonates. So acids and those bicarbonates, so acid plus base would cause bubbles, would cause release of carbon dioxide. Okay? Support your mental alertness and physical energy. Yes, correct. So yun, no? A mixture, meron siyang acid component tsaka base, no? Pag mag-combine siya, with the presence of water, it would release carbon dioxide. Munang nagabula-bula siya. Okay? Ang purpose ana niya class, endorser ka girl. Anyways, so ang purpose ana po niya class, no, kanang lagi bubbles or no, carbon dioxide release niya is that there are some and they become carbonated in that sense, it would increase the palatability. Mas increase niya ang kalami sa imong product rather than na kanang wala siya, kanang plain lang na medyo pait or na yung mga aftertaste, no, bitter aftertaste and so on. So, it would enhance the palatability of your drug, no? So, they are intended to be dissolved or dispersed in water before use, providing very rapid tablet dispersion and dissolution, and pleasant tasting carbonated drinks. Okay, so that is your effervescent tablets. Then we have your chewable tablets. Asa may example na to, anong chewable tablets class? Kung sa inyong naibawaan na chewable tablet in the market available. Celine Plus, yes. Wow, Flintstones. Yeah, ang Flintstones na instead na vitamins na himong candy, kay instead of isa lang ka Flintstone ang gamiton, tag 5 ka buok sa isa ka adlaw. I've done that one na marag ang isa ka bottle na Flintstone dili kaabot og isa ka bulan kay kuan na kanang si tawag ani, instead na maabot og isa ka bulan, marag wala jud kaabot gani 15 days kay nahurot na balik-balik sa refrigerator ang pag-take sa Flintstone. Okay. Lami jud siya kay lahi-lahi ba siya flavor. Okay? So I remember that Flintstone also. Batang Flintstones ako before, no? Uso na siya sa una. Karon naa man pero di rare, di kayo siya gina-advertise na kayo karon. Pero sa una very kuan ka siya, popular kay na siya. Okay. So, aside from that, we have also your Crimel S, antacid. Yes, Gaviscon, I think. Is it Gaviscon or your Crimel S? It's Crimel S. Ang akong naibawaan is Crimel S. Okay? Antacid. Okay. So, chewable sila. No? Sorry. They are designed for administration, of course, for children. No? Especially for those na dili makaswallow. So, chewable. So dosage forms for oral tablet for oral administration, generation of dosage forms for tablet for oral administration, generation of dosage forms for tablet for oral administration. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, I'm back. So I think I lost. Yes. Ano yung question mo, Angelo? Ano yon? Anong question mo, Angelo? Okay, sulat mo lang yung question mo. I will answer it once you have your question. Okay. Sir, nganong naa may nakabutang na first generation ng mga antibiotic unsay kalayan? Okay. Bakit siya tinawag na first generation, second gen, third gen? In the sense, for antibiotic for example, for antibiotics, na siya nga na, kay, kwan man good, it depends on the, kana siya ng mga generation, naga-depend or classification under that, naga-depend na siya sa kung unsa ka wider or broader ang spectrum sa iyahang sa mga klase-klase ng mga bacteria na pwede niya ma-eliminate or mapatay, no? Again, sa antibiotics, bakit siya may mga generation? It is because first gen, second gen, third gen, it depends on how broader they can um how broader the scope of microorganism that they can kill or they can eliminate. Kasi meron tayong mga iba't ibang microorganisms, gram positive, gram negative, no? And among others, maraming list niyan. So, based on their classification, nasa specific na spectrum or number of organisms na pwede siya gamiton, no? Kaya ang ato ang mga antibiotics, di na siya ingon na kana siya na specific na antibiotic, na po na siya specific na organism na ginagamitan para ma-eliminate or iyang action is through that certain organism, no? So yan yung for the antibiotics. For some celecoxib is kama na siya. It's an anti-inflammatory. It is based on their action kaya naka-classify sila into generation naman. Yung other classification basta for mga antibiotics, basta antimicrobial, it is based on the broader spectrum of effect sa mga microorganisms, mga member of microorganisms or group of microorganisms. So yan, no? I hope na-clarify ka sa imong question or nakakuan ko sa imong question. Okay? So that is the purpose of that one. Okay, let's continue. So, under sustained release and controlled release. So sustained release, release of the initial active pharmaceutical dose and further prolonged release. So ibig sabihin, pag sustained release na siya pina-abrupt na amount, certain amount lang na iuna niya og ah, act, no, or ipa-absorb and so on. While there are certain component na tablet na ang last part is prolonged, hinay-hinay ang drug absorption, inana po na, no? Then we have this controlled release wherein controlled ang pag-absorb sa drug or ang pag-deliver sa drug towards the blood, no? Kaya tignan ninyo itong graph ng controlled release. Controlled, no? Plasma concentration. Plasma, di ba, is sa blood na to. Di ba? Plasma house proteins. And where does drug bind? To proteins found in the plasma, particularly mostly albumin. So, through test sa blood, pag test sa blood, makita dito na na ay present of drug because the drug binds to that protein in the plasma. So, in this test, so nakita na to at based on time, controlled release of that drug towards the circulation. No? Comparing to a suspend comparing it to a sustained release rather, to a sustained release, no, na dili siya maintain. It could be abrupt, no, abrupt for a long period of time, then pwede po siya na mo peak down na siya, mo down na ang kanyang concentration. So that's the difference. So both, and then we have this conventional, okay? We have this conventional drug, PO by mouth, no? PO means by mouth, di ba? Na nasa sa mga acronyms. So, mo ni siya ang action sa drug, availability sa drug sa tuang blood versus time. So, as you can see, paspas siya magbaba. No, paspas magbaba ang amount sa drug sa imong blood. So, therefore, pag ingana, paspas siya na na-eliminate. While on the other hand, for sustained release, it sustain na hindi siya magbaba abruptly compared to a conventional tablet na walang coating, walang ang tawag nito, walang coating, walang special form like controlled and sustained release, no? In comparison to that of controlled and sustained release, your common tablets. Okay. Okay, so next, tapos na tayo sa tablets. So basics lang tayo, no? Sa tablets. Then we have your capsules. So we all know capsules. Have you seen soft gel? The one soft gel, example ng soft gel, medical, and medical ba? Ibuprofen, soft gel capsule. Yeah. And then fish oil, yes. Kasi um usually kasi mga mga liquid form that are insoluble with water are not, di siya pwede na into tablets. Di siya ma-incorporate into tablets ang mga oils. Kaya, for example, yan, yung fish oil mo, intended siya for that soft gel. Mga panpod, aside from fish oil, vitamins, your fat-soluble, no? Fat-soluble vitamins, no? Unsa man ang atong fat-soluble vitamins, your ADEC, no? Your vitamin ADEC. Mayra E, part of the fat-soluble vitamins, okay? So, vitamins. So, we have your ADEC, no? Vitamin A, D, E, and K, no? ADEC. Those are fat-soluble vitamins and they are usually in soft gel capsule. Okay? So, Myra is vitamin E, na si Myra. Hard shell, normally used for dry powder, which are insoluble in solvents. So, since insoluble siya sa mga water and other solvents, then much better na i-powder form lang siya in a form of capsule, dili siya pwede as tablet. Lain pug kayo no na powder unya aton kutsarahon ang powder og ato siyang inumon marag lain siguro og lasa. So dapat naa siya'y capsule para ma-protect ang self sa bitterness or sa unpleasant taste sa imong tambal, no? Muna naka hard shell capsule. Then pag soft gel sa mga liquid form naman. Okay, again, advantage is to mask the unpleasant taste of the content or of the drug. Okay? Then we have lozenges. Have you tried this one? Lozenges. It's like candy, no? Ang purpose lang ni lozenges, it should not be chewed. It should be melted in your tongue, no? Okay? It should be melted lang in your tongue or in the mouth, no? In the mouth rather. Have you tried this one? Your strepsils, okay? There are some also kanang sagawa sa other countries kanang sa kwan siya lozenge siya for fever naa lozenge for fever. Meron gani for cough din very common for cough lozenges we have. Pepakwa is a candy, it's not a lozenge, okay? But again, di ba pepakwa is ikuan. Do mara siya lozenge, no? Candy or mara siya lozenge gapon, pero your pepakwa is a candy, no? Of course, it's a Chinese kan man na siya, di ba? Chinese na kwan, herbal na makatabang para makwan, mas mapais ang cough, no? So, yun, your pepakwa. So, masking pag wala kay ubo, masking pag dili sakit imong tutunulan, sometimes lami jud mo ka og pipakwa kay medyo kan siya. Na siya ay expectorant or kanang cooling effect, no? Woods is 'di ba woods is jelly? 'Di ba 'di ba kuan man ang woods, 'di ba kuan man siya kanang humok man siya. It's jelly, dili siya kuan, dili siya under nabay candy. Candy siya dili. Pero kung ingana man gani mahulog siya lozenge, no, kung hard siya then kung katong may kuan na ang ako nabawaan mo gud na kuan sa woods is katong jelly type niya, no? Yun, okay? So again, it is used to medicate the mouth and throat for slow administration of indigestion or cough remedies. Okay. Yun, yung mga parang jellies natin, yung mga sinabi niyo kanina. Okay. So, nasa lozenge. Sige. So, tawag sa ilaha is pastils. Okay? Ang mga jellies na to na kanang kato like your woods na jellies, no? They are known as pastils. Okay? Solid medicated preparations designed to dissolve slowly in the mouth. Still the same siya the way pag-administer for lozenge but that it is softer than your lozenges due to the presence of glycerol, gelatin, acacia, and sugar. Okay, pastilles are more sweeter than those of lozenges. Okay, then we have your dental cones. Okay, dental cones are tablet form intended to be placed in the empty socket following tooth extraction for preventing the local multiplication of pathogenic bacteria associated by tooth extractions. Cones may be contain antibiotic or antiseptics. Vita cubes, yes, they are under pastilles. Okay. So those are dental cones, no? Pero dili kay siya commonly used here because usually ang mga dentist after tooth extraction, after that kay nagareseta man sila diretsyo kuan dayon antibiotics together with your um mefenamic and tranexamic. Wow, the basic ice cream after kuan para ang katungiang gums mo. Sagay na siya sa Bisaya pag ingana para mawala ang numb, no? Magmanhid lang siya. So, yan. Okay. So, next, pills. Okay. Oral contraceptives. Pills does not mean na oral contraceptives lang siya, but there are some drugs that are really in pill form or very small ones, no? Oral dosage forms which consist of spherical masses prepared from one or more medicaments incorporated with inert excipients. Meaning, pag sinabing inert excipients, even in small amount, no, nagatake na siya effect, na siya effect, in minimal amount. Bunang gagmay kay siyang tablet lang, no? Pills are now rarely used except for mga hormonal imbalances and then also for oral contraception. For yes, for contraception purposes. Then we have granules. Okay, we have granules. They are consisting solid dry aggregates, so powder aggregates, no? Kumpul-kumpul na mga powder particles, often supplied in single dose sachet. Have you seen a granule or have you able to try a granulated medicine? Most of these naman din under granules, antacids pa rin na yung mga granulated products na to na antacids. Some granules are placed in the tongue and swallowed with water. Others are intended to be dissolved in water before taking. Effervescent granules then, no? Aside from that of the effervescent tablet, pero din tayo tinatawag na effervescent granules, no? Still, reaction of acid and base pa rin siya. But then, hindi lang siya na in tablet form, no? In granules lang. Granulated. Okay. So that is under granules. And then we have your powders. So we have these bulk powders and divided powders. So when we say bulk powders, dinaghan, bulky, daghan siya, no? Multi-dose preparation consisting of solid, loose, dry particles of varying degree of fineness. So lahi-lahi siya degree of particle size, no? And then also, we have your divided powders, single dose presentation of powders. So most likely, divided powders are available in hospitals na siya. Especially for kanang mga gatong ginatawag na to last time na extemporaneous compounding. Okay? Ito. Ato ang suspension class. I'll take it in the chat box. Atong suspensions, na siya duha ka klase. No? Na siya duha ka klase. Number one, we have your powder. Okay? We have your powder for suspension, and we have your oral suspension. We have two types of suspension, no? Okay? Powders for mixtures. So these are for your suspensions. And your suspensions could be either a powder for suspension or oral suspension. When we say oral suspension, yung number 2 na nasa chat box ninyo, oral suspension, ibig sabihin yan is that one siya, mix na siya. Ibig sabihin, though it is insoluble with that solvent, but they are compatible. Okay? Sana all compatible. No? Sana all compatible. Anyways, yun. Oral suspension, again, yung powder is na-mix na daan sa product sa solvent. Even though it's insoluble, but then they are compatible. Okay? So dili siya maka-cause of oxidation, hydrolysis reaction, para maka-damage sa maka-lessen sa potency sa drug. So no. So okay ra sila ma-match sila. Sana all nag-match. Okay? 'Yun. And then while we have your powder per suspension, ibig sabihin yan, doon pa imimix yung water or any solvent to the drug pag gagamitin na siya. Kasi hindi nga sila compatible, no? Because as time goes by, that solvent might degrade the drug, no? It might lessen the potency, just like your antibiotics that are powder for suspension, no? Kaya nga sinabi na 7 days, 14 days kasi yun yung time na dapat siya inumin. Okay? If may sobra man and then ikikip mo siya, then tapos pag gagamitin mo pagka next na may magkasakit, it's a no-no. No? It's a big no-no. Kasi nga, possible na na-degrade na yung gamot. Okay? So that is regarding your suspensions, no? Powdered mixtures. Then we have your liquid preparations, your different preparation. We have your oral solutions, no? Clear liquid preparations for oral use containing one or more active ingredients dissolved in a suitable vehicle or solvent. Then we have your oral emulsions. Okay, when we say emulsions, these are mixture of two immiscible liquids. No, take note. These are mixture of two immiscible liquids combined together by an emulsifying agent. Okay? Para siyang, yan, oil in water. Imagine oil in water. Di ba mag-separate yun ang oil sa water? Di ba? Pagka nang manghugas mog plato sa inyong gikan-an na plato, sa inyong sud-an na humba, kung manghugas mo, di ba? Ang muhang mantika sa humba mag-form siya droplets dito sa water. 'Di ba? They are not miscible with each other. So through an emulsifying agent, this oil in water connects, they combine, no? It could be either na oil in water, ibig sabihin sa loob ng water merong oil, or it could be a water in oil where in water is inside the oil. Okay? Ganun yan siya, no? An emulsion. Okay? So, that is oral solution, oral emulsion. So, parang kumbaga, parang sa yung emulsions natin, yung component ng emulsions natin, parang langit ka, lupa ako. Di ba? Because they do not meet with each other. Okay? They do not meet with each other, oil and water, unless there is one that would intervene, and that is an emulsifying agent. Okay? Yan. Okay, next is oral suspension. So, yun na nga yung sinabi ko kanina, oral suspension and powder for suspension. And then again, ano nga yung pinaka-important? Okay? May I ask, ano nga ulit yung pinaka-important na instruction pag gumagamit tayo ng oral suspension or suspensions? Mix well or shake well before use. Okay? Shake well before use. Para pag makita niyo yung mga parents ninyo, mga ate ninyo, mga pamangkin niyo na pinapainom, sabihan niyo talaga na shake sa daan before gamiton. Okay? Then we have your syrup. Of course, your syrup from the term itself, it is sweetened. Okay? Flavored, sweetened preparation. Okay? Concentrated aqueous solution of a sugar, so sweetened. Particularly, what type of sugar? Sucrose. No? Flavored syrup. Sucrose, or that is your table sugar. No? Table sugar. And then we have your elixir. Though elixir is not that popular nowadays, no? Your elixir is not popular nowadays. So your elixir, flavored siya, but then it's quite alcoholic in nature. Okay? Kaya mayroon siyang high proportion of ethanol. Elixir has high proportion of ethanol. Okay? So with that of a flavorant and the drug. But then, of course, with the presence of ethanol, it could be a substance of abuse. No, it could have certain effect in the CNS in the long run of using such elixir. Kaya hindi na masyadong ginagamit to ngayon. No? Wala na siya available kayo sa market. Then we have link to CES. Okay? Viscous liquid creation prescribed to relieve cough. Not that plan. Hindi na masyado to ginagamit ngayon or not that popular nowadays. Okay? Link to CES. Even in our discussion sa pharmacy, hindi na namin to gina-include na. No? Wala na kayo siya. Oral drops. Okay, you know already what are oral drops. They are in small volumes. No? They are prepared, okay, in small bottles for in small volumes for administration. Okay? And those oral drops could be solutions. Some are in solution, some are suspensions, and some are in emulsion forms. Gargles. Okay. Question. What is the difference between gargle and mouthwash in terms sa paggamit, guys? Okay? What is the difference sa paggamit ng gargle tsaka mouthwash? Could somebody from the class answer or give their ideas on it? Ang gargle is para sa throat. So, paano siya ginagamit? Gargle, sir. Unsaon? Unsaon? So, kumbaga, kung maggamit ka gargle, marag ka nang imong patingugon, i-lift ang head, and then, marshal, magkuhan ka ng air or something that would somehow na pwede siya maabot sa kuan, sa tutunlan nimo to create bubbles, no? While pag when you say mouthwash, you swish lang. Okay, very good. You swish it in your mouth. So, ana lang, no? Kabalo na mo, no? Sa ang kuan. Ipakulo. Kung saan, lisod na ikuan, no? Lisod siya ikuan into vernacular or local language na to kung saan siya. But anyway, so that's the difference between the two. Because, of course, walay term sa Bisaya. Dili, mouthwash na ang mouthwash na, di ba, limugmog, o mumog, yun. Mumog is Tagalog. Yeah, mumog is Tagalog. Ah, nanlimugmog is the Bisaya. Okay? So, yan. So, that's the difference between the two. Mouthwash is a mouth area, while while your gargle is in your uh pharynx, larynx. Yeah, pharynx and larynx. Yan, na part, no? For your gargles, okay? Sa larynx o sa pharynx. Sa throat na to, okay? Saan na siya? Laropharyngeal part, no? Muna siya sa larynx and pharynx, sa throat infections. Example, sa example sa tong gargle, ini idea, kung sa inyo na ibawaan na available sa market na gargle, Bactidol, very good, Bactidol. Okay? Then mouthwashes, marami naman, no? Marami namang alam tayo na mouthwashes. Colgate, ano pa? Listerine, okay? Ano pa? Napagod, sa pabaga to, napamato sa ka-brand, nakalimot ko. Swish, Swish, yung Swish na brand, yes. Yun. Okay, so that is regarding your gargles and mouthwashes. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, next, ointment. So, we already know regarding ointments, na? Familiar ta konti sa itsura niya. These are semi-solid, greasy for application to the skin, rectum, or nasal mucosa. So, these are composed of anhydrous or immiscible with skin secretions. Kasi yung skin secretion natin, class, yung skin secretion natin is usually water. Diba? Sweat, water. No? So, hindi siya basta-basta na dissolve. Hindi siya basta-basta na dissolve ng sweat or ng mga secretion ng skin natin. So, hindi siya basta-bastang natatanggal. Okay? Hindi siya basta-bastang natatanggal yung ointment aside from being greasy. No? It is anhydrous, meaning anhydrous, walang water content or lesser water content, and immiscible or not soluble to skin secretions which are preferably polar in nature or water siya content na sa mga sweats. And then, ointments may be used as emollient. So, meaning yan, it would suit to your skin. No? It provides protection and it provides a little moisture to the skin as well. Emollient property. No? Gives protection to the skin. Okay? Now, that is regarding your ointments. Which is in opposite, we have your creams. Your creams naman, comparing to ointments, is less greasy. Okay? Less greasy than ointment or non-greasy at all. So again, ang mga creams na to, iyang bases, iyang ointment base or ang mga ingredient niya, it's an emulsion. It could be an oil in water or water in oil creams. Okay? So under this, for example, if it is an oil in water. So nasa sulod sa water ang oil. So ang external or gawas niya is water. If that is the form of cream, okay? Um they are less greasy kasi ang external niya is water and not the oil. So in that case, washable siya. It would wash off easily as based on this one. I hope you can understand that the term, no? Oil in water and water in oil. Composed of small droplets of oil dispersed inside the aqueous space, continuous aqueous space, which is water. Okay? So kung for example, water, na hatag dito isang water. So sa sulod ana niya sa particles niya sa sulod, because this is the external continuous phase. Sa sulod niya na ay mga oil droplets na nakaspread, no? Or nakasuspend na mga oil droplets. So that is oil in water. It would be less greasy in the sense ang external environment niya is the water, which is washable because water soluble siya sa tuang skin secretions. But if ever, letter B, if ang atuang creams na to is water in oil, meaning sa sulod sa oil na ay water or si water naa sa sulod sa oil. So ang external environment coat niya is oil. So that is greasy. No, greasy siya and it is difficult for it to remove. Okay? Okay, difficult for it to remove. Thus, water in oil creams are more difficult to handle, but many drugs which are incorporated into creams are hydrophobic. Hydrophobic, so they are water hating and will be released more readily from a water in oil cream than an oil in water cream. So, na yung mga ingana na mga conditions class, no? It is just again, si ointment greasy na jud siya daan. Si cream pwede siya greasy and non-greasy ang imuhang cream, no? Based on these two type of emulsion bases sa imuhang creams. Do you understand it? Nasabtan? Okay? Okay, sige. Let's continue. Then we have your gels, okay? Gels are matrix, no? These are semi-solid system in which a liquid phase is contained with a 3D polymetric matrix, okay? Which are usually gums in nature, natural or synthetic gums to a solvent, no? And then of course those gum usually swells, no? It swells, okay? Kaya yung mga gel natin sticky, 'di ba mayroon tayong mga gels na hindi pa siya nag-activate, then paglalagyan mo na ng water, it would expand, no? Or it would kanang ang tawag na mo enlarge siya, no? So they are used for medication lubrication and some miscellaneous application like carrier for spermicidal agent to be used intravaginally. Okay? So um, contraceptive gel for women, no? Na naa siya spermicide. Namagutoy katong marag ka ng circle na siya kanang sa contraception sa babae na didto na ibutang ang gel, spermicidal gel. Then i-insert to siyang katong circle. I think na siya sa next part pa sa tong kuan. So pag kuan sa sperm didto, ang mag-protect is katumang kuan um parang Marshall condom na tanawon pero pang sa babae lang siya. So dili ka ang sperm dili ka kasulod, no? And since na siya spermicidal gel, then it would be tawag natin dito. It will kill the sperm, no? So yun. So we have your gels. Voltaren is an anti-inflam, no? Anti-inflam gel. Aloe vera gel. Aloe vera gel is used in mga burn, no? Inflamed skin, burn, treatment per burn, no? Second degree, first degree burn. Yan. And then we have your poultice. Are we familiar with this one? Poultice. Kung sa Binisaya pa, kung sa mga manambalay pa nato sa bukid-bukid, na poultice is hampol. Masyag hampol. Familiar tag hampol, guys? Are we familiar with the term hampol? Kanang dahon na di lakwaan, and then ihampol, then anaan og bandage and so on, no? That so as to poultice. But poultice lang ang iyahang kwan is it could be natural drug like mga herbs na leaves na cut into small pieces na, and then they are applied to skin while they are hot, no? And then gina-coveran siyang bandage, no? And usually used for inflamed body. So poultice is masyag harmful, no? Some are muddy constituent ng mga drug used as poultice, no? By the help of bandage to cover such area, inflamed area. Okay. Then we have your paste, no? There are paste, comparing paste, ito lang yung pinaka-important sa paste. Comparing paste to ointment and creams is that your paste is more thicker. Your paste is more thicker than your creams and ointments in the sense that it is composed of large number of insoluble solids, no? Like for example, mas daghan ang iyahang solid kaysa sa liquid which forms into paste. Like for example, starch paste. Kuan ka gawgaw or kung kuan kag starch, then gamay lang na water ang imong ibutang, it forms into paste, no? Lagtik, latik, or kanang very pilit kay siya, no? Because mas taas or mas kuan, mas taas ang percent sa solid, insoluble solid than the solvent used. Okay, and it is more stiffer, okay? It is more stiffer than your ointments and creams. Okay. What is kuan? What is good about paste is that capable siya na kanang sa mga samad-samad gani, sa mga samad-samad, capable siya na mo absorb, okay? Mo absorb og mga serous secretion, okay? Serous secretion, okay? Labi na ng mga nana, 'di ba kung mag-open wounds, mga nana, no? Familiar man ta ng nana, 'di ba? So kuan niya, gina-absorb niya ang serous secretion sa imong skin. So kana lang pod ang isa sa advantage sa paste. But wala kay ta nagagamit og paste karon, na? more on Quanta ointment and creams. Okay. Then we have your, let's proceed to dusting powders. Okay. Dusting powders. Example sa dusting powders, kanang mga powder na ginagamit nato ninyo, mga girls, boys. Kanang mga Fisan, say nakatry Fisan dere Fisan powder. Are we familiar with that Fisan? Fisan powder is a dusting powder, no? Even those powder, talcum powder, no? Or kanang mga powder na ginagamit ninyo like sige mga brand gani sa powder, kalimot ko. Procter and Gamble. Kung saan na siya nakuan mga powder ninyo na ginagamit daily. Food powder also will do. Those are example of dusting powder. So dusting powder are not used. Okay, they are not for use on open woods unless those powders are sterilized or intended for that intention na for wound siya. Then ito transdermal patches. Okay, your transdermal patches. I think I have mentioned this one last time in our discussion sa LADME regarding your transdermal patches. So para siyang band-aid, no? The drug is in the middle, no? The drug is in the middle and the bandage, that transdermal patch has a membrane, a controlled membrane na inanay lang ang iyahang pag um, release sa drug towards the circulation through the stratum corneum sa tong skin towards the dermal layer kasi dito man ang absorption, site of absorption niya. Okay? So kana siya. And then usually it stays in the skin, in the body for 1 week, no? Or in a month or 1 week. Pwede siya bason actually. No? Pwede siya bason. But then you must place it in an area na walay buhok kayo. Okay? It must be placed in an area na walay buhok o dili kubalon or rough ang skin or thickened skin. Kay less ang absorption ana na area. Okay? So yan, transdermal patch, skin patch. So the first available patch is your drug scopolamine, which is used for motion sickness. Ibig sabihin ka ng biyahilo, no? Motion sickness. Then we have also nicotine patch as one of my example before, nicotine patch in order to control those who are having with um, smoking cessation or those who stop smoking para hindi abrupt, no, para walay withdrawal syndrome symptoms may tabo. They have nicotine patches. Then we have your plasters, no? Solid or semi-solid masses adhere to the skin when spread upon cotton felt line or muslin as a backing material, and they are mainly used to, okay, your plaster, ang purpose niya is for protection and for mechanical support of those drug that might be incorporated at the center of the plaster. Furnish and occlusion is still protection gyapon na siya, no? And macerating action and brings medication in close contact with the surface of the skin. So that is the purpose of having your plasters. Then we have liniments. Are we familiar with liniments, guys? Kasi mga example sa liniments na to. Liniments. Tag-anjog ko. Number one na answer jud Pao di Arco. Unsa pa? Your we have also your efficacent. No? Your efficacent oil is a liniment. Mga haplas na to. No? Liniments are fluid, semi-fluids, semi-solid preparation intended for um, application externally to the skin. It could be either alcoholic or it could be oleaginous or oil solutions, no, or emulsions. Um, the oil solutions, okay? Kanang mga oil solutions na to na liniments, those are used for massage purposes, no? Massage purposes. And those mga alcoholic naman nato na mga liniment, mostly ang iyahang effect is as counter irritant. So it has cooling effect, no? Napud siya ato mga liniments napud siya cooling effect sa body nato. It would relieve inflammation, no? It tries to relieve irritant or inflammation in the skin. But take note that your liniment, bawal siya igamiton ang liniment iabo sa broken skin or kanang wound, open wounds or broken skin, because this might irritate your wound or broken skin. Ang tissues, no? Tissues in those broken skin. Kasi nga si liniment natin, meron siyang alcohol content, it might damage the tissues in that broken skin or wounds. Okay? So that is the very important thing to know about liniment. It's for external use, okay? External use only, and then um, not allowed to be incorporated or applied to broken skin. Okay. Then we have your lotion. Are we familiar with your lotion? So this fluid preparation or external application without friction. Okay? Lotions. Then we have your collodions. So for collodions naman, these are kan siya kanang actually it is made up of cotton na gi-mix og acids na and other solution organic solvents, which ang purpose niya is as wart remover, kalunggo na to kanang mga wart na to. So it has a keratolytic effect, keratolysis, no? Ibig sabihin niyan, keratolytic effect sa 'di ba warts are in our skin, nasa to ang skin. So ang purpose sa keratolytic is that it dries off the upper layer or the keratinized layer of the skin. It dries off the keratinized layer of the skin and then it slough it. Ginaslough niya. Ginapapasnot niya tong baga na mga kubal caused by that warts. Okay? Mga warts. So, most likely collodion is incorporated sa mga plasters, no? Incorporated sa mga plasters na naay circle. And then katong circle sa tunga sa plaster mo to siyang iana dito sa warts and then naka-plaster siya, no? So that it would have prolonged contact um with that of the wart para mas effective ang wart remover. Okay? So, compound wart remover consists of acetic acid, salicylic acid, and an acetone collodion for warts by keratolysis or its keratolytic effect. It's sloughing of that thickened skin. Okay? That is collodion. Then we have your paints. Okay? Paints are liquid application to the skin or mucous membrane. Hindi na masyado to. Wala na tayo. Hindi na masyado to ginagawa. Ito naman, pressurized dispenser, aerosol sprays. We all know sprays, di ba? Still part pa rin siya ng dosage form because there are some mga drugs na to that are in pressurized container. Like for example, ang iyang kon is mist ba ang iyang particle na ipagawas? Foam ba ang iyang ipagawas na um, particles sa imuhang drug, no? And so on. So pressurized dispenser or aerosol sprays. So meaning niyan pag pressurized siya, sometimes na ay gases, no? Gases inside that pressurized container. Na pag press nimo, ang katong gas would press the content, the drug moving outside. Who have tried this one? Suppository. Then we have your suppositories. Who have tried suppositories, guys? Are you still there? Si Charissa. Miss Aguhar, have you tried? Okay, so for your suppository, meron siyang types sa take note of the types. We have your rectal suppositories which is in the rectum sa anus siya ginapasok, no? Just like this one, this is rectum, so rectal suppositories. Then for female, we have your vaginal, okay? Vaginal suppository it is an or this is known as your pisare or pisares in plural, no? Sa plural form, pisares, which is intended to be melted at body temp, no? In body temp. Say ouch, Julius. Okay. So, yun. Aside from this one, rectal, vaginal, meron din sa lalaki, no? Ang tawag natin, okay? Okay, sa lalaki naman, of course, meron din sa lalaki, no? It's a very small siya na suppository that would known as this is known as the urethral suppositories. Okay? Urethral suppositories for men. No, very gamay siya. Siyempre, no, ang atuang kuan sa men, kung ipasok ang suppository, kasakit siguro kung dako, kung dito sa penis sa men isulod, no? So, gamay, very gamay siya. Marshad ka ng, how could I describe? Sayang ka gan. Pakita mo ng marag ka ng ulo sa lapis, kaning marag kaning kuha nato sa lapis, marag ing ana siya, mas gamay pa, marag pellet na gamay pag ana, ug isulod siya, no? Erectile dysfunction. Sa unsa na scenario ginabutang ng ingana sa men, those who have urethral infections, infections due to sexual intercourse, pwede pod, incontinence, ano pa ba? Inflammation sa urethra sa lalaki, UTI, urinary tract infections. Anyway, so yon. And then, yun na nga, lastly, it's dakuan. Ang common for urethral suppositories for men is for erectile dysfunction. No? Yun. And then for women naman, yung vaginal or pisare is that, kuan siya, urinary tract infections. More on urinary tract infections, vaginal infections due to sexual intercourse, or sexually, for those mga sexually transmitted diseases. Yan. And then rectal naman, marami na pwede siya for paracetamol suppositories and for other drugs that are not well intended to be administered orally. No? But rare lang kaayo. Of course, disadvantage of having suppository is that it somehow ang iyang kwan gani is ginakuan niya ang dignity sa tao. Nawala ang dignity sa isa ka tao kay di ba? Inserting this drug, inserting this drug in that route would sa kwan ni siya morality na part sa morality is parang masyad immoral that it would kuan it is against person's dignity, especially if that pwede ka mo, if you are able, pwede na may instruction. You can search it in the net na how to place rectal suppository. Pwede ka mo kung you are able, if you are able to insert it. For example, for urethral suppositories like sa lalaki, actually hindi po siya pwede na kanang gelatina ang kanang suppository sa lalaki gelatinized na siya, so dili siya sakit kay mura mo slide off lang na siya dito sa urethra sa penis sa lalaki. Even for the vaginal, no? and rectal, medyo mag-slide na siya. Then since it touched to the body temp, no, it touches the body temp, maginahinay na siya melt, so mag-slide off na siya. Okay? Try si Julius, so na curious. Anyways, so let's continue. Medyo mababa na yung discuss natin, ano? Malapit na rin ito matapos, no? Enema, another one is enema still. It could be either orally given enema or it could be rectally. So the purpose of there are two types of enema. Number one, okay, enema is produced by introducing liquid in the rectum and colon via the anus. So ang purpose ng enema is to clear all those hugaw, lahat ng hugaw sa rectum, tsaka sa colon, meaning sa tuang large intestine. So bakit may mga instances na kailangan kunin yung dumi, i-evacuate, ipalabas ang dumi? That is enema. I-flush niya lahat, no? Okay, ipa-flush niya lahat yung dumi, rectum or sa large intestine. Para for example, pag may mga ganing kuan, diagnosis ng mga procedures para ma-detect if na by colon cancer or unsa man ang naa sa tiyan niya, problem. Kay kung naay hugaw man good, naga-cover siya dito sa mga inflammations or tumor and so dili klaro sa ultrasound or sa kung unsa man ang mga visualizing machine na ginagamit for it, no? So dapat i-evacuate siya. So muna siya evacuant enema. And then we have your retention enema wherein it is used, retention enema, ibig sabihin yan, it is used for as part of diagnostic tool. Wherein for example, barium sulfate, um, ipa-flash siya papunta doon sa body natin into a certain area like GI, no? And then, um, using a device, magiging clearer yung imaging niya kasi barium enema would leave parang mag-reflect siya na naay color in that certain area na ma-detect naa dito ang something or mas clearer siya tan-awon, no? Retention, naay retention, no? So their volume does not exceed 100 ml, no warming needed. And then, yun na nga, again, ang purpose niya is for diagnostic purposes. Okay? Diagnostic purposes. Another one, going back to evacuant enema. Evacuant enema, yung kanina, yung i-flash lahat ng dumi, especially for those na mag-undergo og kanang mga surgery and so on. No? Na ay time na ginapa-evacuant enema sila. No? Again, for retention enema, more on for diagnostic purposes. And then, of course, no, tama ta dito, mature man ta mag-think dire, di ba? Of course, ano pa ba example natin under evacuant enema? Mature man ta dire, no, very kan man ta kanang sa mga bisexuals, sa LGBT community nato, it uses evacuant enema kanang para um, ipagawas ang hugaw sa rectum, no? That is part, no? It's part of an enema. It's an effect of an enema. And then again, going back to Pisari, that is your vaginal route ng mga forms, no? It could be molded, it could be compressed, or it could be vaginal capsules as well. Soft gel vaginal capsules inserted in the vagina. Ito yung sabi ko kanina, yung vaginal ring, no? Ito yung parang vaginal ring na linalagay for contraception. It's either for contraception or for those who have um, insufficient hormones, so for hormonal imbalance purposes. Okay? Vaginal rings. Then we have your douche. Okay? Douche is a device used to introduce a stream of water into the body cavity for medical and hygienic purposes. So most likely douche are used by women, no? Douche or douche, douche is vaginal douche are usually used by women para for cleansing sa of course sa private area, no? And for those also na may mga kadaganing candidiasis no sa women, for those sexually active women, they do nagadutch sila, antimicrobial douche, no? Introduced to that part of the body. Ano pa ba? Intrauterine device for women. Of course, IUD, no? Your IUD, intrauterine device for contraception, your IUD. Kita mo tong picture na ang bata nagbitbit sa IUD sa mama. Nakakita mo na ng mga picture in the social media. Do nag-IUD siya but then it felt short, unsuccessful, and then ang nagdigunitan sa bata ang ang IUD wala nakuha ang IUD unsa ba na di unsa ba to pagkuan no. So yun, it remains in place in the entire time of pregnancy is not desired, no. Depending on the type, a single IUD is approved for 5 to 10 years. But at the same time, class, yung IUD natin could lead to some infections then, especially if dili siya kuan. Ang nagamit na IUD is kanang dili siya sterile upon insertion or na-contaminated siya, it would lead to such infection because there might be some contamination in the IUD, no? Sometimes it leads to urinary tract infections then. So again, it's for contraception or it could be as well for hormonal imbalance problem. And then we have your IVs, no? We all know what is your IVs, no? Direct to the circulatory for injections, okay? Towards the bloodstream with rapid onset of action. So, pag once na ma-inject siya, sa circulation, then mas faster ang effect. It will took effect agad-agad. Then we have your intramuscular. So, what we have now, your vaccines now, no? We are now into vaccination for COVID-19. They are given intramuscularly, though some of it are intended for subcutaneous. No, so our kanang pinaka kuan na muscles nato is of course your dito nato na mas biceps, no? Nato na muscle dito, no? So we need to pinch it, pag pinch inject, okay? Ano na siya. And then another one, if you notice this one, kasi yung peta natin is composed of lots of muscles, no? Large, bountiful of muscle, your gluteus muscles. Not like gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, gluteus, ano pa ba yun? Medialis, and so on, no? So, it is also an intramuscular route. So usually ang ginagamitan diri na part is those mga diabetic patients, insulin. Sa ilang insulin nila na injection, they are usually injected in that area. But most of them peritoneal. Alam niyo tong dito sa tiyanan natin sa may tiyan, diyan siya mag-rotate ang injection sa isa ka patient na nagatake og insulin. But aside from the intraperitoneal sa may tiyan banda, no, sa peritoneum man na siya, pwede pod sa intramuscular via gluteus maximus. So kung everyday ka naga-insulin, so dapat rotational ang pagkuan. Dili siya in one site ang pag-inject, dapat rotational siya. Kay kung magkuan ka one site ka, ma-inflame na siya, no? Mag-inflame na siya. So we have your deltoid muscles, vastus lateralis, ventrogluteal, gluteus nato, dorsogluteal muscles. Ano pa? Subcutaneous, yun ang sinabi ko regarding your insulins, no? This is an insulin pen, okay, for diabetic patients, no? So yan. In the layer of the skin directly below the dermis and epidermis. So subcutaneous injection are highly effective in administering vaccines and such medications like your insulin. Are you still there, guys? Konti na lang. 6 slides left. Okay? Okay, so yan yung example. This is your ampules, no? These are your vials of those injectables that we have. Then we have your inhaler, no? Your inhaler. So kanina aerosols. Though inhaler is based on our classification kasi sa pharma, inhalers are part of aerosols. But since they are specialized, hindi siya yung spatial na SPATIAL, spatial na aerosol, they are termed under separate special dosage form as an inhaler. No? It could be a solution, okay, a solution to be inhaled in mist, or it could be a suspension of powder suspended in gas, okay, in very small micrometer size, or it could be an emulsion of drugs, okay, pressurized in an aerosol dispenser. So again, ang iyang unit is very gamay, no? Micrometer in diameter. So imagine how small are those particles. Okay? And these are the valve, yung ginapislit is actuated by our finger pressure. So kinsa man sa inyo diri ang asthmatic na nakatry na og inhaler? Kinsa na nakatry ani Ventolin inhaler na yung ani. Okay, so di ba i-press lang siya. Then there is a proper way of administering those type of dosage forms. Ang goal na to sa inhaler class is dapat mo reach siya sa tong bronchi, no? Kay dito man sa bronchi ang site of exchange of gases. So dira na mosulod towards the blood vessel ang imuhang drug, no? Especially for inhalers with other action aside from that of kanang aside sa kanang respiratory tract nato ng mga conditions na inhaler. Namatay mga inhaler that needs to be taken for other conditions like steroids na to na inhaler. So yan. It should reach the bronchi or bronchioles. Then, of course, inhaler could be either this one or nata ginatawag na meter dose inhaler pala. Sorry, hindi ko siya na-add. No? Meter dose inhaler na makita nimo na-assign ka ng number kung kapila ka nagamit o pila ang dose niya. I-adjust nimo kung pila ka unit ang dose, then kapila na ka nag-click o mabawa nimo kung nahurot na ba siya or dili. Duwa man na siya kabuok, either kani siya or katong circle na disc, no? Na rotahaler na meter dose. Okay. Next is the nebulizer. Of course, since si kinsa to ang kuan, kinsa to nakagamit si Kurt, since si Kurt nakagamit na og inhaler, for sure nakagamit na pud siya nebulizer. Tama ba ko, Kurt? Since nakagamit na ka og inhaler, nakagamit jud ka for sure og nebulizer. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're asthmatic. Up to now, until now, asthmatic pa rin.
Dili na, sir. Squad nag-swimming ko, sir. Nawala naman ako ang pagka-asthmatic.
Okay. So nadyoy at certain point of time na mawala jud ang asthma. Okay? It is not still clear kung paano naging nangyari yan because there is no cure. If you're an asthmatic person, there is no cure daw for that. But management, it could be managed. Asthma has no cure, but it could be managed. Ingon nila, no? So it depends upon you. Pero kung ikaw na ma-expose mo mong self again to a certain na mga kan like dust and other environmental factors, then possible na mobalik pala imong asthma. Me, elementary, ako ang asthma is up to elementary. Grabe, dili ko kapil og kwan, Boy Scout, kintahay sa una, di ko apil og mga kanang mga overnight na mga activities and so on kay halit lang ko at kimog asma ambot nga no jud. But during high school nawala siya. I even joined ka ng mga patong-patong na mga cheer dance no na patong-patong even in college no sa UIC. I also joined into mga extracurricular activities which needs high stamina before. So nawala naman siya in the long run. Siguro factor po ng exercise or activities that would um, improve your breathing capacity, no? That would really help. So yan. Again, we have your nebulizer, so device used to administer medication to people in the form of mist to the airways, no? In treating asthma and other respiratory conditions. So, in general, doctors generally prepare to prescribe inhalers to their patient because compared to that of nebulizer, okay, bakit mas prefer sa doctor na mag inhaler compared to nebulizer is that it is cheaper, more portable, and carry less or side effect. Okay, nebulizers for the reason are usually reserved only for serious cases of respiratory disease or severe attacks. Lain pud no na dihubak ka magsikang bit og nebulizer kit. Lain pud ang peg na magbit ka marag cassette, no? Marshall cassette. Dako pud ba ang nebulizer, no? Dako pod siya. Wala kag usaba, no? So again, your inhaler is portable. It can be placed in the pocket kung gamay siya, in your bag, and so on. Compared to a nebulizer, magbag ka. Ang usually ang ubang nebulizer na siya dala na palag ka ng bag, no? Kanang sana na klase na bag kanang ana-ana lang gani, oh. Kasi tawag ana na klase na bag na ang imuhang string niya, string bag. So lain po na mag-backpack ka og nebulizer padulong sa lugar kung asa ka maadto. So that is an advantage of inhalers over nebulizers. Kaya preferred ang inhalers. And then we have your eye drops for ophthalmic devices or ophthalmic dosage forms. Na? We have your eye drops. So in order for an eye drops para dili siya makakause of inflammation or damage sa skin, so it should be isotonic in nature. Are we familiar with the word isotonic in terms of tonicity sa imuhang kwan solution? Kasi dili siya pwede na hypertonic or di po siya pwede na hypotonic because it would kill the cell. It would either shrink or burst no the cell structure nato. So nato nga nasa eye drops. And usually eye drops should be sterile, no? It should be prepared sterile kasi nga it will be placed directly towards the tissues no, where it is applied sa mata particularly. And also we have your ophthalmic ointments and gels should be also be prepared sterile, no? So meaning pag miuntag prepared sterile, it should be free or out from any contaminations. Free or out from any contaminations, guys. Ear drops or otic drops, no? For the ear. Then we have your nasal sprays, nasal drops para po sa nose na to, no? For local effect as an antihistamine, for anti-allergy, or allergic rhinitis, for example, antihistamine for allergic rhinitis, kanang mga allergy sa dust, and so on, and decongestion. Kinsa na nakatry og nasal spray or nasal drop sa inyo ha? Like nasoflu, kanang iana siya diri oh. Na siya ana-ana na kung pag mo nimo siyang i-press kay ikuan siya diri ah. Okay. Say feeling. I've never tried that one pa. Bugnaw siya. Okay? Bugnaw siya. Though I never tried pa naman so far na magamit ng ganon. Kasi I rarely got pa naman flus din. At mahirap magka-flu ngayon. No? Bawal magka-flu ngayon. Baka COVID agad yung kuan hatol sa'yo. Anyways. So, ang kanyang purpose is that Those nasal sprays and drops should be absorbed in the nasal mucosa, no, to exert its systemic effects. Okay, so that's the end class, no? That's the end of our discussion. This is the last slide, no? Please do have further readings on the slide. May mga entries ako na hindi ko na siya sinali, no? Though I've discussed ano yung highlights na importance under those dosage forms. Any questions? Any questions? So I can also send the link in your chat box so that you can copy it. Okay. Okay, I've sent the link in your chat box as well. Any questions, concerns? Have you learned many things regarding dosage formulations today? So I hope katong mga uban na mga kan ma-apply ninyo no in your in daily basis when you encounter those dosage forms na mga important things to advise or to say na dapat ingani shake well ang mga suspension and among others because those are important things that others may not know. Okay? So time check is 10:21 and we are done with our discussion class, no? So with that, you are 22 in the class now. So can we have kung wala ng questions, can we have our closing prayer first? Then after the closing prayer, kindly have okay notify your attendance again in the chat box before leaving the Google Meet. No, after the prayer. Okay, may I request um, Jeffy Evangelista, Jeffy, to lead the closing prayer. Is Jeffy around? Or if not Jeffy, can we have Jaco Miras to lead the prayer? Wala may sound. Kasi gibilin na rin nila ilahang gadgets for kuan. Plus, din wala na naminaw. Anyways, we have Althea. Are you there, Althea?
So
Okay, can you lead the closing prayer, please?
let us pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, so by that, we are now done with our discussion. So please have your post attendance in the chat box before leaving. So thank you for staying for the whole duration of our discussion. And please do update yourself on the code for your quizzes, no? Sets of quizzes via Edmodo. Okay, God bless everyone and have a nice day ahead.